All right. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Hi. Hello. Okay, welcome to the class anyway. So not class lah. Okay, seminar. Okay. So, basically, uh, yeah. Okay. Today we are mainly going to cover exercises lah instead of the theory part. Right. I'll just emphasize on those important stuff lah. Okay, so the rest theory I won't explain in detail like we used to went through before. So okay, basically I'll just go through something before we officially start everything. Okay, first thing first, uh yeah, okay, here it is. Your first exam, right? Okay, this is your first exam in your secondary school, and we don't treat it like primary school. So the way we do preparation is different, okay, compared to primary school. So primary school, I believe you just like read through those stuff and you get ready to yourself, just go into the exam. That's all. But for secondary school, right, things go different. Okay, first thing first, your language barrier. So some of you might change, okay, from Mandarin to English, from Mandarin to PM, or like you're English speaker, but you have to use PM, okay, to answer the questions. So you have some barrier here. So you cannot be like primary school, just read through the stuff, then you go to exam. So totally not work in this way. So what you have to do during preparation, right? Okay, first thing first, you have to understand, okay, what is going to happen in your exam. So for science, basically we have three sections. Okay, so section A, section B, and section C. Okay, so the marks allocation is around three of them, sum up become 100 lah. Okay, this is your objective. This is fill in the blanks. For section C, is like you write sentences to answer the questions. Okay, so from here, I won't discuss objective with you. Objective, you have to put your own effort. We have objective questions for you to go through, and you have the answers for you to double check as well, cross check lah. For section B and section C, okay, we will put some effort here today, okay, because this is the most likely lah, okay, most major part, okay, students they lose marks here, okay. So if you want to do revision, okay, as we said, first thing first, before you go through revision, one thing I want to remind you lah, please, we don't go through textbook anymore. No textbook in my science revision, please. Okay, don't put effort on textbook anymore. Okay, so what you can do here is yes, for the notes. As you can see, the notes that you receive here it is just around 3 to 4 pages only for your notes. Yes, we do revision on notes. We don't do revision on textbook anymore. Okay, plus if you just be like, so convenient, then I go through the notes only lah. I just flip 4 pages, I read through all of these things, I close the book, then next day is your exam. Same thing lah. The result is not going to be very, very brilliant unless you're a genius. Okay, so if you want to prepare more, you must go through exercises as well. Okay, the exercises is not necessary to be you, okay, write down those the answers manually. Okay, you can just revision the questions with your answer supported. You got me? So which means whenever, because in your seminar notes, right? Okay, it is covering the exercises as well, covering the answers as well. So you have answers and exercises with you. So whenever you do revision, right? Okay, you can read the questions. If you ask yourself, you know how to answer this question or not. If the answer is yes, then you proceed to the next question. If the answer is no, then you have to open the answer and you read the answer. Okay, you read the answer, you try to understand the answer. Okay, not necessary to ask you to write down all the answers in the seminar notes, because the exercises here, okay, is mainly telling you which kind of question is going to coming out in your upcoming exam. Okay, so if you don't know what is the pattern of the questions, right? Okay, most likely lah, you mess up your exam lor. Okay, so that's why, okay, the point for me to ask you to go through the exercises is you familiar yourself, okay, you cope yourself into the questions. Okay, otherwise, you feel very confused one lah. Hey, why suddenly this kind of question coming out? We never been through before. Okay. Plus, if you are my student, okay, so we went through all those exercises in your previous notes. You can just go through as well. Very, very useful one. Okay, I didn't bluff. So this is how, okay, we do preparation on the notes lah, or on your science revision. Okay, so Yeah, okay. If you do revision on the notes, right? Okay, because from one, you feel very confused. Okay, what is the thing that I have to focus on it? Basically, you're going to cover chapter 1 to 3, right? Okay, there are some do and don'ts. Okay, so if you talk about do, okay, what you can do on doing revision. First thing first, we can do revision on the names. Okay, because some of the people they do a revision, they memorize every single word in the notes, which I don't really encourage you to do so lah. Okay, yes, you can memorize, but not the other things. Okay, you can memorize names, you can memorize functions. Okay, because we have 11 systems, right? Okay, we have the cell, plant cell, their functions, their organs, whatever. Okay, know the functions, know the name. Okay, know the SI unit. Okay, the gram per cube, okay, your density, right? Okay, your kg, millimeter, whatever, you know these things. Okay, but we don't memorize theory. Remember, we don't memorize theory. Okay, don't put yourself to memorize all the theories. Okay, you are going to make things very, very difficult. Okay, because you have a lot of things to memorize already. Okay, not theory. For example, why does the animal do cell respiration? Okay, cell respiration is a kind of theory, ma. We don't memorize the content. We try to understand the content. You got me? So we'll go through together lah. But okay, let me tell you something. Today, okay, I'll just mainly focus on your chapter one, especially chapter one. Because chapter two we went through, okay, I believe chapter two is not so tough lah. Chapter one is the thing that mess your science. Okay, so we'll go through, focus more on chapter one lah, on how to deal with those questions. Okay, so as I said, I won't do a lot of explanation on your notes. I'll just circle and tell you what is the thing that is important in your upcoming exam. Okay, so just turn on your seminar notes, or if you don't have the notes, just go through with your PDF. Okay, so you can take a screenshot, whichever I tell you is important. The first thing, what is the importance of science in your life? Okay, so you have to know the science importance. Okay, how important is science? So tell yourself, lor, you make buildings, you need scientific knowledge. You make medicine, you need scientific knowledge. Okay, you plant crops, okay, you need scientific knowledge. So all of these things, right, they are the importance of science lah. Okay, the second thing is you have to know what is science. This is a very, very major question. Okay, science is actually a systematic observation and experiment on the natural phenomena. That's all. No much thing. Okay, so science is what? The systematic, systematic observation and your experiment on the natural phenomena. That's all. Okay, so don't memorize all the things here lah. Just tell yourself, observation, experiment on natural phenomena. This is science. Okay, so the thing you have to memorize is, okay, this one also we skip. This one you don't put effort. This one is common sense. Okay, what does the biologists do? Okay, biologists, they plant something. Okay, botanists, botanists, zoologists, they are considered as biology. Okay, chemistry is considered as those chemists those pharmacists they are considered as chemistry. So this one is common sense. We don't go through. Okay, I didn't get my notes. Okay, so if you haven't get your note, right, please use the PDF first lah. Okay, you go to the web page, right? Here you have PDF notes. You can just use the PDF notes as a reference first for today. If you don't want, right, you can always get the replay, then together with the notes when you get it physically, then you do revision from that time lah. It's okay. You can just watch whatever I show you first. Oh, it's blurry. The PDF itself is blurry, not really lah, because my notes is open from PDF. Maybe you close and reopen again. Yeah, you try first. Okay, so these are science laboratory apparatus. All the apparatus, right? You must know how to sketch them as well as their name and their function respectively. All these things here is very, very important. Your objective, your subjective will ask you, okay, what is boiling tube? What is test tube? Okay, what is burette, pipette? How do you draw pipette, burette? How do you draw tripod stand? They ask you something like this. So you have to know how to sketch out this thing, how to draw them. what is the name, what is the function. Okay, this one is you cannot avoid this thing lah. You must go through. Okay, the lab rule important, but we don't memorize. Just ask yourself lah, what to do and what not to do in the lab. Do not run, do not eat, do not like chase. Okay, in the lab. So common sense we don't memorize. This one, yes, I put stars on those who need memorize lah. Okay, this one you need memorize. Put effort on this thing. Okay, you have to put effort on the hazards as well. You know, hazards. Okay, so the irritant, the radioactive, corrosive, know all the names, all the logo, especially logo. Okay, knowing name is not enough. Logo as well. Okay. Meanwhile, for the examples, I would say for examples, depends on your own capacity. Okay, if you're able to memorize the examples, just go through. If you couldn't, because the name is very difficult, okay, be like, I'm chlorine lah, mercury lah, ammonia, I cannot. Then you can skip the example. The marks allocated here is not that much lah, maybe 1 to 2 marks only. Okay, but the logo, okay, and the symbol is very important. Okay, do we need to memorize the detail? Detail is just for you to understand what is this thing. For example, irritant. Irritant is something that will irritate your organs. Okay, radioactive is something that has radioactive ray. Okay, so corrosive is something that is going to burn your skin. You know, not to say memorize lah. You have to know what is this lah. Okay, when you explain, we don't memorize as well. You try to use your own words to explain. All right. Then this one, safety measure, not really. Okay, the next one is this one. Your physical quantity. Yes, go through. Okay, go through physical quantity. You have to. All right, the length, okay, the mass, the time, okay, you have to know all the SI unit in English, in alphabets, and symbol as well. Okay, so here we already highlighted to you those very common one, the mega, kilo, centi, milli, micro. Same lah, okay. For your first exam, it's very suffering because you have to go through all these things. Okay, starting from your second exam, I mean, easy a bit lah, okay. Nothing much to memorize lah. So how do you deal with this thing? Very simple, okay. If the power is considered positive, okay, means you have to move the what is it called? You have to add zero lah behind the figure. For example, you see, when I talk about mega, you have 6 0. For example, the figure I give you is 1. So mega is power of 6 ma. So you add 6 0 in behind of the figure. That's all. Okay. If we talk about nano, micro, okay, for example, micro is -6. So negative, we don't put 0 in front. Okay, we move the decimal places in front. So you see, okay, why I say if power is positive, then you add 0 behind, because anyway, we are just playing around with the decimal places. You see this decimal point, if positive 6, you move behind 6 times. So you have 6 zeros lah. Okay, but the balik, if you are talking about negative power, okay, -6, okay, the power of -6. So you move the decimal places front for 6 times as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you total have 5 0 in front of the 1 lah. Okay, you got me? So this is how you deal around with the SI unit only lah. Okay, nothing much, nothing difficult. So the point is, if you can, same thing lah. If you can afford this thing, just go through all of this thing. Okay, because last year, I have few students, okay, from different school. Their teacher asked about nano. Nano is -9, the power of -9. So if you couldn't, then it's okay. Just to say lah, this one is very important. Okay, same lah, your question, your exam, right? 100% will count with something like this one. Okay, so-called inevitable. Okay, so mass, length, okay, time. How do you play around with this figure? So just tell yourself, if your prefix is changing from big to small, for example, you're talking about from bigger value to smaller value, then we do multiplication. Okay, multiplication. So if you are talking about the value turns from small value to big value, small to big value, we use division, which we do divide lah. Okay, divide by how many zero? It depends on how many zero you are talking about. Okay, if you are going to divide become nano, means you are going to move it. Okay, -9, 9 zeros to move. Okay, so deci means -1. You have one figure to move. It depends on this law. How many figure you're going to move. All right, so we'll go through some exercises on this later lah. So the next thing is here, you have to know what is the measuring instrument's name. Vernier caliper, micrometer screw gauge, ruler, measuring tape, okay, the lever balance, as well as if you're using BM, the name you have to go through as well. Neraca tuas, neraca tiga alur, the names. Okay, you have to focus on this thing lah. But here we have a technical term, is very important as well, called parallax error. Okay, this is what is so-called when you take the readings in a wrong way. Okay, when you take reading, right, it has to be parallel. Parallel. You cannot take the readings from different angle. Okay, in this way, you got the wrong figure. It's what is so-called parallax error lah. Okay, so parallax error not just happen on ruler, it often happens on the liquid as well. For example, now here, okay, so you can see we are using the measuring cylinder. Okay, so parallax error, you have to take figure on the lowest part of the water. Okay, we don't take figure beside here, we don't take here, we take the center, the lowest one. Okay, but if the question comes with not water lah, it comes with what? It comes with mercury. If we talk about mercury, right, the parallax error will happen as well because mercury, it appears this way. As I said, you take the reading based on the center. Okay, we take reading based on center. You see, we don't take reading based on the side angle lah. We don't do so. Okay, we base on center. So this is your parallax error lah. And the instrument you go through by your own law. We don't I don't tell you the name anymore lah because already showed here ma. So systematic error, random error, okay. So laboratory error, laboratory thermometer. Yeah, okay, all the names you have to go through. All right. So yeah, my protagonist is this one. You know, okay, a lot of people they get confused. What is vernier caliper? What is micrometer screw gauge? Okay, so basically they are considered as a ruler, but you use this thing to measure something that is unable to get measured by ruler. Okay, you need more detailed reading. Then you use vernier caliper or micrometer screw gauge. Just write down beside the name. Okay, vernier caliper is using cm. Okay, it is using cm and we are using 0.01 cm lah. Okay, the decimal in here for both lah. Okay, they have two decimal places one. You have two decimal places. Okay, talking about vernier caliper is in cm. Micrometer screw gauge is in mm. Okay, so from here, how do you take the readings? Okay, basically we have to classify them into two ruler. One we call as main ruler, which is this part. You see, when I clip it, right? Okay, this will be a main ruler. Then this one is my sub ruler. So main scale and vernier scale lah. Okay, so I just pronounce it as main ruler and sub ruler. So you see, this is my main. Okay, this is my sub. Whenever I try to get readings, right, I have to get both. Okay, main and sub together. So talking about this, right? Okay, so for main scale, tell yourself, for main scale, we always seek for a zero. Okay, we always seek for the zero. For example, you see, the 0 points to here. Correct or not? Look at my hand. Okay, the 0 points to here. Okay, so the figure I look after should be this one. Okay, one figure in front lah. So you see, this is the figure I want. Okay, so my figure here is 3.2 cm. Okay, meanwhile, for your sub ruler, right, we take two completely matched line. For example, this is your completely matched line. The others are not. You see, you have a minor difference between the other line. Okay, the line has to be connected perfectly. Okay, so perfectly connected line, this one lah. Okay, then you get your reading. The sub one is 0.1, 0.2. Then the sub reading would be your, you see, 1, 2. Okay, it's 0.02. So you sum up them, you got your answer 3.22 cm. So this is your vernier caliper. Okay, so talking about zero error, right? Zero error happens, okay, whenever your zero in the beginning, it doesn't match with the other zero. Usually when you close the vernier caliper initially, it has to be perfectly matched. Zero match to zero. Okay, to show you, to indicate, okay, or actually your vernier caliper has no problem. Okay, then after that, when your vernier caliper shows something like this, right, your main zero and your sub zero doesn't match, then you are having zero error. So zero error, we have positive and negative zero error. Okay, so how do you understand positive and negative zero error? So the keyword here I'm going to give you is over calculated or miscalculated. Just ask yourself whether I'm over calculating or miscalculating. So for example, you see, okay, now the zero, the zero has difference, right? So what is the difference? This is my difference. Fair enough. So when I still insist to use this thing to do my calculation, okay, I will include this thing into my calculation as well, which means I am doing over calculation. This is over calculated because I include this thing in my calculation as well. I am over calculated. Okay, so talking about this one, you see, my sub ruler is in front of my main ruler, which means this is the difference. You see the difference between the zero. This difference indicates that I am doing miscalculation. Okay, I miscalculated this thing. Because when I clip it, right, I didn't calculate this thing inside, then I have to add it back. If I do over calculated, okay, I have to minus it out. I have to deduct it out. Then you feel like, why over calculated? You say deduct, then why here positive? Why here negative? You say miscalculated, you have to add it back, correct or not? So miscalculated, add it back, but why it is negative? Because it happens because of the formula. You see, the formula is saying what? Actual reading, okay, comes from the reading minus the zero error. So for example, okay, I take the figure from above just now. Okay, this is my reading. When I minus, okay, when I'm doing over calculated, the over calculated here mentions 0.03, okay, then you do your mathematics, plus minus become negative. Okay, negative, positive become negative, So just now you say what? When you do over calculation, you have to minus it out. You see the logic match already. Okay, so never doubt your knowledge not knowledge. Never doubt your logic Okay, whenever you do over calculation, you have to consider it as positive zero error. When we do miscalculation, then you have to consider it as negative zero error. Okay, so the question now is, how do you get the figure, over calculated figure or miscalculated figure? Okay, in zero error, right, we only look at one thing, which is your same thing lah. Okay, we look at the small ruler, the sub ruler. Okay, so we just seek for the completely matched line. So you see, this is my completely matched line, Okay, so for positive zero error, we start from zero. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is my positive zero error, 0.03. When it go to when it goes to negative zero error, we don't start from 0. We start from 10. Because negative, okay, we have to seek terbalik. Okay, we have to seek reversely. So we have to start reversely as well. So from 10, you calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you have negative zero error, okay, you start from behind, you start from 10. So it comes to negative 0.06 cm. So if you want to understand this thing without doing any memorization, right, just ask yourself, am I doing over-calculated or miscalculated? Just ask yourself this question. If you over-calculated, positive. Because in the end, you have to minus it out. If you miscalculated, in the end, you have to add it back. So add it back means what? 3.22. Okay, so my negative, negative, positive. No, the answer will be 3.28 lah. Because here become positive already. Okay, clear? So this one is actually confusing to most of the Form 1 students lah. Okay, so I'm here to clear things up. So when you come to the micrometer screw gauge, right, basically this one is much more easier compared to the vernier caliper lah. Okay, so the only difference is micrometer screw gauge is using mm, which means it has a smaller division compared to vernier caliper. So vernier caliper we are using cm so here you are using mm lah. Okay, so same thing, we have main ruler and sub ruler as well. Okay, main and sub. So how do you calculate this thing? For main ruler, you look at you take the readings vertically. Vertically. Okay, for sub ruler, you take it horizontally. Okay, so for example, vertically means what? You see, vertically it points to where? It points to 3.5. But actually, you see, 3.5 is here. But what about the gap? Okay, the gap, it matters, but the thing comes from your sub ruler. So the main ruler is 3.5. Your sub ruler, you read it horizontally. So horizontally is what? 35, 36, 37, 38. So plus 0.38. So your answer is 3.88 mm lah. So as I said, if for micrometer screw gauge, okay, we take the main scale vertically and the sub scale horizontally. That's all. Just make it the cross lah, Okay, an inverse cross lah. Okay, so this is what is so called the scale. Same lah, because we have reading, right? So of course we have parallax error, okay, we have to avoid. Then one more thing, we have zero error. So you have to know for this one, right? Okay, unlike vernier caliper, you just clip it. You clip it, you take the readings. But for systematic error, you have to turn it. You have to turn the sub ruler. Like you turn it up. Just turn lah. Okay, then you get your reading. So you see, if you're talking about no zero error, as I said, without zero error, just everything good. Your zero will completely match, perfectly match to the zero. But when it comes to here, you have to ask yourself again, am I doing over calculation or I'm doing miscalculation? So you see here, my small ruler, okay, is lower than my main ruler. My small ruler 0 is lower than my main ruler 0. So from here, this thing, this part, right, I I over calculated, which means when I do calculation, right, I will include this part as well in my calculation. So over calculated means positive zero error. When it comes to here, you see this gap, the difference here, okay, I didn't calculate it after I using this thing as my calculation. I miscalculated this part. So I have to add it back. Miscalculated means negative zero error lah. So that's why you see, okay, the logic is here. Just ask yourself whether I'm doing over calculation or miscalculation. Then once you get the negative zero, right, you substitute into the formula, actual reading equals to the reading minus the zero error, then you got the answer. All right, so we'll spend time on this thing later lah. Okay, so no worries. Then, okay, when it comes to here, the question I ask you, okay, why things have to be changed to digital? Okay, we change things to digital because we want to get the reading more accurately and more precise. Okay, more accurately and more precise. This is why we do digital stuff lah instead of traditional way. Okay, so come to here, two errors. We have systematic error and random error. This one I have to go through, but this one not that hard to understand lah. Okay, quite easy. Systematic means the error doesn't come from you. The error comes from the equipment. Okay, so for example, zero error. It doesn't come from you. It comes from the equipment. Or else the equipment itself has some issue. For example, the ruler. Okay, the ruler has no logic. 1, 2, 3, 6. Suddenly 1 cm, 2 cm, 3 cm until 6 cm. This is considered as systematic error because the error doesn't come from you. The error comes from uh the measuring equipment. Okay, talking about random error. Yeah, this one is your issue. For example, parallax error. You didn't get the readings accurately because you didn't take the correct angle. This is your issue. Okay, you careless. This is your issue. You are using the wrong technique. For example, I'm going to measure the volume of water. Okay, I measure volume. I use stopwatch. Okay, to measure. Wrong technique lah. You're using the wrong item. Okay, to do the measurement. So that's why random error and systematic error, the main difference is systematic error come from the equipment. Random error come from you. So how do you overcome, okay, this kind of issue? You can say we use different equipment to measure the same thing. Okay, so you can say we do field measurement. You can say we take correct reading based on the correct angle to avoid parallax error. Okay, so you can say these kind of things uh to answer how do you solve this thing. All right, so yeah, that's all. The next thing here is, yeah, you put a star on this thing, estimating area. Okay, when we do estimation on the area, right, just tell yourself, okay, for those who more than half, okay, for the boxes who more than half, you put a tick. Okay, so after that, you calculate how many ticks you have. You do your multiplication, you got your answer. But the thing is here, okay, sometime your teacher will trap you. Okay, trap you. How they trap you? Okay, they'll say something like this. Okay, they don't put 1 cm times 1 cm, they put 2 cm times 2 cm. So in this case, if you didn't read the question properly, okay, you fall into trap, you got the answer wrong. So for example, I assume here got 23. Oh yeah, 23. Okay, assume here got 23. Then when you do calculation on the area, right, just 23 times 1 times 1. So this is your answer. That's why you say 23 ticks times 1 times 1. That's why the answer is 23 cm square. Because they ask for area. But now, if per box, the area is 2. Okay, so per box, the cm square will be 4 cm square already. Then when you do calculation, you have to take 23 ticks times 4 cm square. Okay, this one has to be depends on the question is giving you what cm times what cm. You have to be careful on this thing. Somehow they'll come out in your objective or your subjective, okay, to trick you. Then in the end you come out, hey, why this one I get it wrong? Okay, so you have to be very precise lah. Okay, more detailed when you read the questions. Okay, then one more thing which is quite important is this one lah, water displacement method. Okay, water displacement method. This one you have to know. Okay, whenever we put a solid, okay, the uneven surface solid into the liquid, we can get the volume of the solid based on the difference of the liquid. Okay, so if the difference of the liquid is 8 cm cube, then this difference will be the volume of your stone. Okay, why do we say so? It's so important because this thing we are going to use it to calculate density. You know, this one is a little bit of mathematics stuff lah. Okay, so when you calculate density, right, you have to know one formula. Okay, D equals to M divided by V. This is the formula. So density in BM called ketupatan. Okay, mass divided by volume. Okay, so based on here, sometimes okay, as I said, if the question didn't give you volume, they give you something like this. So the question is only giving you the mass and it asks you to calculate the density. But we have something given which is the image like this. So based on this image, you have to get the volume by your own. You get the volume by your own, you substitute it, you calculate the thing lah. Okay, so terbalik, if the question another pattern if the question is giving you mass, okay, and density, but it asks you to give the answer of volume. How do you calculate it? Okay, so based on here, you have to deal around with the mathematics stuff lah. When you move the V to D, okay, you move it opposite the equal When you move the value opposite the equal, right? Okay, you have to change the figure. From division, you change it to multiplication. Okay, so based on here, we can get division, you change it to multiplication, which means M equals to D times V. If the question asks for V, then you move this D to the opposite of equal. Then the multiplication will become division. So V equals to M divided by D. So depends on what is the what is the figure questions given. Okay, then you substitute the figure into this formula, you do your calculation. Okay, you got me, huh? All right. Then later on, we'll look at the questions on this thing. Okay, so this one as well, you put a star. Okay, they'll ask you the steps to do scientific investigation. Okay, you identify the problem first. Okay, what if they ask for M? Yeah, I mentioned just now. You see, okay, got question asked. Got student ask, what if they ask for M? So you see, the formula is D equals to M divided by V ma. If I move V here, it becomes multiple. Correct or not? So if they ask for M, M equals to D times V lor. The question will give you these two if they ask for this one. If they don't, then they will give this you. If the question gives you D and not V, then you have to calculate the V based on this one. Okay, you find the difference between the volume, then you know what is the volume for the stone, you substitute inside, you get your figure. Okay, if the question asks for V, then you have to move the multiplication, okay, to the opposite side. Then it becomes D lah. Okay, like this. All right. So scientific investigation matters as well. The first thing is you have to construct your own problem first. You identify the problem first. Then you do the hypothesis. Okay. Then you make up your control variable, manipulative variable, responding variable, constant variable. Okay. The primary school stuff. All right. Then you do your planning. You plan the experiment, what to prepare, how to go through the experiment. Then you do the experiment lah. After the experiment has been done, okay, after it is done, you collect data. You collect data, then you analyze the data, you make conclusion, and then you write the report. Okay, try your best to memorize this thing if possible, because somehow the question will come out this thing in section B. Ask you to fill in the blanks. What is the step from A to Z? Okay, you have to construct this thing out. Later on, we have a question, we go through together. All right. So, yeah, chapter 2. Okay, basically, let me tell you something. Chapter 2, in your notes, right, all of these things are important. Okay, but few things for you to know, I especially emphasize to you lah. Wait, I drink water first. Okay, the first thing is you have to know, okay, if the question asks you, how do you prove that certain thing is alive? Okay, how do you prove that cell is alive? You can say cell will do growth, will do respiration, reproduction, as well as excretion. Okay, just bring out this message that is for the marks already. Cell will do these 4 life processes. Okay, which we previously say, when you do cell respiration, you make energy. Why do you make energy? Because the cell need energy to do growth, to do reproduction, to do excretion. Okay, so in terms of the preparation, it matters as well. So you have to know lah. Okay, when you prepare animal cell, we are using methylene blue solution, the blue color droplets. Okay, why to use this color? Because the color will show, okay, the animal cell clearly. If you didn't put color, right, Okay, it appears very, very transparent, blurrish, you're unable to observe clearly. So it goes to plant cell is not using mentally blue solution. It is using a iodine solution. Okay, they're using iodine solution. Yeah, okay, the color is different. Iodine is appears in brown color. In the end of the chapter, we'll look at this thing again because iodine solution will test the presence of starch. Okay, so the structure all here is important. Nucleus, cell membrane, cytoplasm, mitochondria. Okay, go through all of the names, go through all of the functions. The question will ask you all of them. Okay, even though the question will ask you to sketch out how is the structure of animal cell and plant cell and give label on them. This is your nucleus, okay, this is your mitochondria, cell membrane, cytoplasm. All right, then when it comes to plant cell, okay, same thing as well. Just plant cell and animal cell has similarities. They both have nucleus, cell membrane, okay, the cytoplasm, the mitochondria. Okay, but however, plant cell, okay, it has four things, not four things, sorry, three things that animal cell doesn't have. For example, cell wall. Okay, animal cell has no cell wall, but plant cell they have cell wall. Chloroplast. Okay, the thing used to do photosynthesis. Chloroplast contain chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is used to do photosynthesis. Vacuole will provide support, okay, to the cell to support the shape lah. All right. So yeah, this one you put a star as well. I mean, basically this entire chapter is star lah. You cannot skip anything in this chapter. This chapter is super, super important. Okay, you have to memorize all the things in this chapter. All right. So what are the differences of animal cell and plant cell? So you can say lah, okay, animal cell has no cell wall, plant cell has cell wall. Okay, animal cell has no chlorophyll, plant cell they have chlorophyll. Vacuole, animal cell has no vacuole, usually don't have. Plant cell they have big vacuole. Okay, some sort of this lah. So the next one is unicellular, multicellular, important as well. Know the name. Okay, the question I ask you to give example. Provide one example of unicellular organism. Then you have to say lah, mitochondria, mitochondria, not mitochondria, amoeba, paramecium, okay, euglena, they are considered as uh unicellular organism. Okay, multicell, hydra, mucor, spirogyra. Okay, give example of this thing. But this one you have to be more attentive lah for euglena because euglena is the only microorganisms that is considered as animal and plants as well because it can move freely like animals and it can do photosynthesis like plant. Okay, so this one is quite important. Then, okay, all things in this page is important. Okay, yeah, the euglena is hybrid. Okay, so you have to know the animal cell, all the animal cell, different type of animal cell, different type of plant cell, know their name, know their function. As well as your 11 systems, know their name, know the functions, know the basic organs, like the heart, the blood vessels, okay, the lungs, okay, the pancreas, liver, stomach, all these things are simple what you have to go through. Okay, so same as your organization of cell, everything starts from a cell. From cell, you become tissue. From different tissue, you become organ. From different organ, become system. From different system, you form to become an organism. So it comes to here lah. Okay, so free and easy Just try to make yourself familiar with this thing. Okay, so yeah, cell respiration matters. We make energy to fulfill the process of what is it called? The growth process. Okay, the reproduction process, the excretion process. All these things here, they need energy. So any single cell, as long as you are cell, as long as you are living things, you know how to do reproduction, excretion, respiration, then you need energy. Okay, it comes from glucose. Glucose is actually considered as simplest sugar. You eat rice, rice contains glucose. Potato contains glucose. Okay, even meat contains glucose as well. Plus oxygen. Okay, in the end, you get carbon dioxide, water, and energy. You exhale carbon dioxide, you pee, you urinate, okay, you have energy. This is how you get energy from cell respiration. Every single cell that is living, they do this thing. When it comes to photosynthesis, right? Photosynthesis, okay, it happens because of what? Okay, for plants. Plants, they need to do food for themselves. That's why they do photosynthesis. Okay, same. You have to go through the formula as well. Okay, you need water, carbon dioxide, light, chlorophyll that comes from chloroplast. Then you produce glucose and oxygen. Okay, so without any of these, okay, these are the factors to do photosynthesis. Without any of these, the plant will eventually die because they cannot do photosynthesis. Okay, then one question is here. The question asks you lah. Okay, does the plant do cell respiration? Okay, the answer is yes, because plant, they will also do reproduction. They also do what is it called? Growth. They also do excretion as well. So of course they need energy. That's why they do cell respiration lah. Okay. Then your experiment. I put stars, so it's very important. Okay, the experiment question will ask you in this way. How do you prove that the plant is doing photosynthesis? So they give you two scenarios, one in the dark room, one in the room full with sunlight. Then they ask you, how do you prove this thing? So basically, we are going to use one thing called called iodine. We use iodine solution to test whether the plant has photosynthesis or not. So as we say, iodine is originally brown color. Okay, if you put droplets on the leaf and the leaf change color, then it means the plant is doing photosynthesis. Change from brown to dark blue color, then it means the plant is doing photosynthesis. So few factors is here lah. Okay, one with and without sunlight, one with and without chlorophyll, one with and without carbon dioxide, another one with and without water. So one thing to mention to you is this one. Whenever in your exam, you see the word, okay, potassium hydroxide solution, you see this thing, which means this thing is going to absorb carbon dioxide. Wait, eh, what, I couldn't write anything already? Okay, wait, I think I'm having some issue on the pen. Apple Pen? Okay, it's okay. Give me 1 minute. I restart my iPad for a while. Okay, I'll reshare my screen later because I couldn't use my pen just now. Okay, coming. Wait, take some time to restart. Share. All right. Yep. Yeah, back to here. So just now we are, yep, here. So, okay, with and without water, you can use the iodine to test lah. Okay, if there is a presence of starch, okay, then which means your color will change from brown to blue black color. So if your color got changed, means the leaf has starch, the leaf got do photosynthesis. So you might question what is starch? Okay, starch is actually called kanchi. Okay, if the plant go through photosynthesis, right, they'll do glucose. They produce glucose. When you have a lot of glucose, they will become starch and store in the leaf. Then the leaf, if you want to test whether the leaves go do photosynthesis or not, you test lor. You test the starch. Okay, so later on we see later got questions or not. Then lastly, as I said, the comparison matters. The question will always ask you, what is the difference between cell respiration and photosynthesis? They always do. So you have to figure out the difference between these two things lah. Okay, cell respiration and photosynthesis. All right. So yeah, that's all for this important stuff. As I said, chapter 2 is entirely important. Chapter 1, you have a lot of things to get familiar, but however, calculations as well. But however, chapter 1, it has less theory. Chapter 2 has more. That's why chapter 2 and chapter 1, both chapter you have to put effort. So for some of you, your chapter will be covered until chapter 3. Okay, your exercise, I mean your exam will cover until chapter 3. Then you have question law. Okay, we didn't do revision on chapter 3, man. Okay. Not really lah, because chapter 3 is very fresh, ma. We don't spend time on doing fresh stuff lah. Alright. So yeah, we go through some questions first. Like, yeah, you see, section B and section C, okay, we are mainly writing stuff. We are not circling stuff. Okay, section A, objective, I prefer you guys, you spend up 30 minutes to do, okay, to do as much as possible. Then you double check with your answer sheet. Okay, you depends on, for example, 30 minutes, I finished 50 questions. Then you depends. How many questions is correct one? Then you redo and redo until you get correct stuff lah. Until you get greater rate lah, I would say. Okay, this is your practice. That's why we don't discuss section A here. Otherwise, you fall asleep very soon. Okay, so section B and C. So first thing first, you see the question ask you apparatus. Okay, ask you to give name, ask you to sketch out the lining. So you have to sketch out beaker, conical flask, tripod stand, something like this lah. Okay, then you give out the name and you draw the things. Okay, so simple ABC stuff. So that's why I said those apparatus, including the pipette, the burette, you have to know how to sketch it out. Okay, if for test tube, you have to sketch it like this, test tube. Okay, the what is so called the pipette, it is something like this. Okay, so know how to sketch them lah. Okay. One more thing. In your exam, okay, I have to tell you at first, please make the habit on reading the questions. I have a lot of students, I don't know why, they don't really like to read the questions. They say, hey, got space or I just write with sure I know. But a lot of scenario lah, okay, like fill in the blanks doesn't score because you didn't answer whichever the question is asking. Okay, somehow the question didn't ask for the name, but they mentioned it here. You didn't know. Then you just sketch anything you know. Then in the end, you misunderstood the question, you lose the mark. That's why reading matters. You read the question before you write. Okay, so yeah, when it comes to classification, you see, okay, you have to classify them into two based on their function. So A and B is used to carry chemical substance lah. Then this one is used to support chemical substance. Then you can write if they ask you to do classification, you can write here. Okay, to what is it called? To fill in the chemical substance. Then here to support the apparatus. Okay, so if they ask for name, some people they write A, B, C. Sorry, 2 marks hilang already. Because they already asked you to give the name. You have to repeat the name. Okay, without the name, you lose the mark as well. All right. So this one, right, because you have the answer sheet with you, Okay, for your information, if you don't know where to get the answer sheet, okay, so you see, you go to the link you just joined just now. Okay, in this page, click here to get PDF notes and answer. And Form 1, Science. So all the answers is already given here. Okay, so just based on this part, right? Okay, you can do your own revision lah. Okay, but eh, why suddenly something gone already? Okay, it's okay, doesn't matter. Okay, but I'm not going to give you a lot of answers here because everything you can just refer to that. We have already got answer. But for some of the questions, okay, I'll still go through because I will save some time. For example, this question. Just go to your question number 5. Okay, this one. You see? Okay, we go through the pattern. You look at this question. Just now I mentioned, right? Important. However, you don't need to memorize all the words. And identify the problem, make hypotheses without any explanation. Okay, control the variables without any explanation as well. Same. Okay, that's why from step to step, you have to know. Okay, then we go to the important one. Yeah, this one. Okay, look at the question 6. Okay, so this one, just, very simple. Chemistry, forensic scientist. Okay, biology, you do botanist. Engineer, you do physics. Okay, very simple. So just now you said, define science. When the question asks you to define science, right? Okay, we don't really memorize all the words. We have keywords. So the keyword is here. What is science? Science is actually a kind of, as we said, systematic observation and experiment. This is your keyword. Science is about what? About observation, about experiment on natural phenomena. So we are doing science on this thing. No memorizing. Try to understand. Okay? So we do systematic observation and experiment on natural phenomena. Okay? So for C, yeah, C, I have to guide you how to deal with this thing. Okay, so you see, the question is very friendly to you. It is given 1 times 1. So you know for one box is 1 cm square. This is what you can do. Okay, so as I said, for those boxes which more than half, you tick it. Okay, so I'll calculate with you to show you how. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So based on here, I can get 46 ticks. And if you notice this thing in your answer, right? Okay, the answer sheet that we provided, 44. The answer sheet provided is 44. But from mine here, it's 46. Okay, so what am I going to tell you is what? In here, you see, show your calculation in the space provided. Okay, so just now you calculate 46 ticks, right? Okay, so times 1 cm times 1 cm because the question asks you to give out the calculation. So without calculation, you lose 1 mark. Okay, so total will be 46 cm square. But you see, the answer sheet is given 44. Okay, so is this answer correct? Yeah, it is still correct. Because you have to know, in this part, right, we have tolerant answer. Tolerant answer means what? Okay, it means we have an answer range. Okay, if the standard answer is 44, then maybe 42, no, maybe 43 lah. Okay, 43 to 45 is acceptable. They have a plus minus here lah. Okay, they have a plus minus here. But based on here, okay, our calculation is exactly 46 lah. So I assume the answer is still 46 lah. I'll go for my answer lah. Okay, so this one is another KBAT question. KBAT questions means the question that needs you to do your own brainstorming one. Okay, you see, after an investigation on 2 butterflies, okay, zoologists, okay, they found out, hey, actually the data is improper. They couldn't get the improper data. Okay, so can he alter the result? Alter means can he change the result? can he modify the result? Give reason and suggest. So you see, can he alter the result? 1 mark. Give a reason, 1 mark. Suggest the method, 1 mark. So total is 3 marks. So to get a more reliable and accurate result. So first thing first, you cannot alter the result as a zoologist. Okay, why? As a reason, it is against science. You can say this action is against science. Okay, if you don't like, right, you can say this action is opposite science, disobey science, against science attitude, whatever. As long as you bring out the message, the word doesn't really matter. You just bring out the message. Okay, no, it is against science. Okay, so how do you get the proper result? Okay, repeat the experiment few times. Okay, or you can say get another sample, you repeat the experiment again. Okay, you bring out this message. So through this way, you can get accurate result lah. Okay, so in BM, you can see the translation is given here. Okay, tindakan ini menentang science, against science. So he can repeat the action for a few times to get a better or more accurate result lah. Okay, so C, same here. Okay, this one has an issue. It shouldn't supposed to be 4 marks because you see the question is asking you to give two scientific attitude and values. Okay, so to make the accurate conclusion. So based on here, right, it should be only got 2 marks because the question didn't ask you to give explanation. So only 2 marks will be given lah. So you can say what? Okay, as a zoologist, you have to be positive attitude lah. Okay, be fair. Fair attitude also can. Okay, be fair on your result. Honest on the result. Okay, so you want to say what? Passionate. Passionate also can. Without passion, you cannot do anything, right? Okay, passionate attitude. So you see, I don't really memorize stuff from here. Just common sense. Just feeling whatever you know into the answer. Okay. So okay, C. Question 7. You see, question 7. A. Three apparatus can be used to fill or contain liquid chemicals. So just pop out your brain lah. Okay, we mentioned just now. Conical flask. Okay, beaker, test tube. That's all. Okay, so hazard symbol. You see, the question will ask you symbol. Okay, to heat up the ethanol. Ethanol is actually alcohol. And we know alcohol is flammable. Okay, so the hazard symbol here, the technique which can be used to heat up the ethanol. Okay, the technique to heat up the ethanol is boiling. Okay, boiling, if you want to heat ethanol, you cannot put fire. The technique is boiling because ethanol is flammable. Okay, so the hazard symbol here, if you can see the bottle, right, for ethanol, it's something like this. Just draw a fire, flammable. Okay, some people, they're like, technique is, okay, they write technique flammable. This is why I say you have to read the questions. Okay, so if you didn't read the questions, right, then you see they are not asking you about the symbol's name. They are asking you about the technique. So the technique to heat up the ethanol is boiling, not burning. If burning, the ethanol will burn then you cause accident. Okay, so we go to the important one. Okay, this one prefix. Prefix. Yeah, okay. So prefix, right? You see from kg to mg. Mg stands for your milligram. Okay, so from here you have two methods to do. But for me, I encourage you to do the what is it called? The accurate one, which means the one easier one. Okay, but more steps lah. Okay, from here you do calculation, right? Okay, first thing first, we know kg to gram is 1000. Okay, so we also know from you see just now we see the thing mg milli milli is 30. Look at here. Okay, so you have 30 as well. So back to here, you know kg has 30, mg also got 30. So just sum it all. So you have total got 6 zeros. Okay, so you're sure you're working, right? Then from big value to small value, we do multiplication, which means you can write this way. Okay, to small value, you do multiplication, then 10 uh, you can just sketch it this way. Okay, ask yourself, kg to gram, how many zeros? Okay, then from gram to milligram, milli just now we saw three zeros. So total will be six zeros lah. Then you move your decimal places, then it becomes 6000. Yep. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yeah. Okay, so this is your answer. But don't forget, your SI unit is very important. No SI unit, no answer. No answer, no marks. Okay, so same goes to here. Okay, meter to nanometer. Okay, so nanometer. Okay, just now you said nano you have nine zeros. Okay, but now you are going from a big value to a small value as well. So big to small value, we do multiplication. And we know, okay, nano stands for nine zeros. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So the answer will be nine nanometer. Okay, then you show the workings because too many zeros already. 4 5 6 7 8 9. Then you got your answer lah. Okay, just ask yourself, how many zeros do we have in between these two things? Okay, so K to MK, this one K is not the kilo K. You see, kilo K is small letter. Big letter is Kelvin. It is a SI unit. Okay, so Kelvin to mega Kelvin. Okay, mega Kelvin, how many zeros do we have? Okay, totally we have got six zeros. Okay, so six zeros from value become bigger. Okay, small value become big value. Same, we use division. Sorry, not multiplication. Because small to big we do division. So 1 2 3 divided by six zeros. Then in the end, your answer is 7 mega Kelvin lah. Okay, ask yourself, mega, how many zero? Kilo, 3 0. Milli, also got 3 0. So the answer is here. Just play around with the zeros lah. Okay, so meter to cm, very simple lah. This one I have to go through. Okay, so skip. We go to here. Okay, I erase everything and I explain to you again for this thing. Yes, your question. Oh, I'm lagging. Am I still lagging now? No, right? All right. Thank you so much. Okay, so we just go to your question 9. Yep, question 9. This is not in your science syllabus, but however, your question somehow, your teacher very weird one to ask you, what is the meaning of sensitivity? Okay, sensitivity. What is sensitivity? Okay, sensitivity is what? Okay, actually, it is the ability to detect minor changes. Okay, ability to detect minor changes. This is how it's called sensitivity. So you can just explain. Sensitivity is the ability to detect minor changes in measurement. Okay, so BM, sensitivity, ya, adalah keupayaan, the ability, okay, untuk mengetahui perubahan kecil dalam bacaan. So you see, I am trying to use simple language here lah, simple terms here lah. Okay, I believe these words is in your brain. You know these words. Okay, you are able to write this thing. Okay, just ask yourself, how do I construct the sentence? What is sensitivity? It is the ability to detect minor changes. Okay, this is sensitivity. So Which one is more sensitive? Which one we'll choose? Okay, we'll choose digital voltmeter lah. We'll choose this one. Why? You justify. So justify means you explain. Explain your choice. Why we will prefer digital voltmeter? One, okay, it is more sensitive because talking about sensitivity ma. So digital voltmeter is more sensitive. This is your first point. Two, yeah, you can say because digital thermometer is much more accurate. Okay, it is more accurate. So you can write, you can explain, you can justify in two aspects lah. Okay, so voltmeter we don't really prefer lah because if you have given a chance to choose, right? Of course, we choose digital thermometer lah. More convenient, okay, more accurate, more sensitive. All right. So B, okay, look at B. So B, you have micrometer screw gauge to show the thickness of the wire. Okay, so you see, without the wire, micrometer screw gauge, you see, parallax error, not parallax, sorry, zero error happens because the zero doesn't match each other. Okay, the zero that doesn't match with each other. So in here, we have to recognize it is which kind of zero error. So you see now, this thing, right? You miscalculated. You are going to miscalculate this thing, which in the end, because you see, we spin, not spin out, we turn the micrometer screw gauge whenever we want to measure. Okay, we turn the sub ruler. So whenever you overturn, overturns means you are going to miscalculate this part. You miscalculate this part means it is negative zero error. Okay, so negative zero error indicates what? Okay, you have to sum it back. Okay, you have to add it back into the zero error. Okay, into the actual reading out, which means. So how do we get the figure? You see, okay, we find the difference. So we find the difference between these two zero. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So the answer will be negative 0.03. Don't forget, it is micrometer screw gauge, so it is mm. Okay, so with a wire. So when it comes to with a wire, then we have a main, we have a sub. So main, we read vertically. So this one is 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.5. Plus your sub ruler. Okay, your sub ruler is horizontally. Okay, horizontally means 35, 36, 37. So plus 0.37. The answer is 8.87 mm. So this is how you get your figure lah. Okay, if you still remain unclear or not really understand this thing, you tell me, I can explain again, especially this one. Miscalculated and overcalculated. A lot of people, they didn't get it. Okay, so miscalculated means you have to add it back, so we put negative. So in the end, the type of zero, okay, the type of error in here is called zero error lah. So zero error. So what is the value in B1? So based on our calculation, the value in B1, zero error means negative 0.03 mm. When the question asks you, how would you adjust back the zero error? How can the zero error B1 be avoided? Okay, we can apply the formula because the formula says actual reading equals to the reading minus zero error. Correct or not? Okay, so we just say lah, if you want to avoid zero error, what you can do is you deduct lah. You deduct the zero error from the reading. Okay, so if the question asks you, hey, with error, again, read the question. With error, you don't give the final answer first. With error, based on our calculation, 8.87. Then the question asks you about the actual thickness. Only you put all the things inside here. Okay, 8.87 mm minus 0.03 mm. Okay, so you got your answer because you said now you ask back yourself. Okay, I miscalculated. I sum it back. Correct or not? Yes, the logic match. Then you go ahead. So the answer in the end, it becomes 8.89, 8.90 mm. So this is your actual reading lah. Okay, which after the adjustment of your zero error. Okay, so remember, SI unit has marks. Okay, if you didn't write SI unit, marks will be deducted. If you didn't put your what is so called your steps, your calculation, you didn't show a calculation, marks will be deducted as well. So make sure you show your deduction, make sure you show your SI unit. Without these things, marks will be gone. All right. So this is your vernier caliper, ruler, micrometer, screw gauge. Simple. Yes, yes, yes. Anything. How do you even read positive zero error? Read, read means verbally read or use my eye to read. If positive zero error, it will appear something like this one. Okay, this is positive zero error. This is positive zero error because I mean, you see, my main ruler, okay, my main and my sub ruler, you have to look at the position. This is main, this is sub. So my sub ruler is what is so called is on bottom, is lower than the main ruler. So when I do calculation with this zero error, you ask yourself, okay, this is a zero error because 0 to 0, okay, 0 to 0, the difference is here. Okay, so the zero error from here to here is like 0.2 lah. Sorry, 0.02. This is my positive zero error. Okay, so if your zero is lower than the main ruler, then it is considered as positive. If your zero is on top of the negative zero error like this, then it is considered as negative zero error. Because you see, my case just now is what? Just now the thing. Okay, 0.45. You look at this thing and you ask yourself, when I spin, not spin, sorry, when I turn this sub ruler, okay, I am going to calculate these two, I mean, this gap, I'm going to include in my calculation. Correct or not? Which means in this case, I over calculated already. Then it is considered as zero error. Okay, so terbalik, back to this case. Now my zero is on top of my main ruler. Okay, so this is zero, this is zero. My main ruler is on top. Sorry, my sub ruler is on top of my main ruler. So from here, when I continue turn everything right, I miscalculate this part, Okay, once I click that thing, I didn't calculate this part. So I have to add it back. It is considered as negative zero error. So what you have to do is you ask yourself whether in here I am doing over calculation or miscalculation. You got my explanation? If you cannot, I change another way to explain to you. Can Okay. So question number 10. Okay, this is your vernier caliper, micrometer screw gauge. As I said, you have to turn lah. Okay, you turn the small ruler. Okay, the sub ruler, then to get a calculation. Okay, so for vernier caliper, you just simply clip it lah. You clip it, and then your main ruler, your sub ruler, you just clip it, you get your answer. That's all. Okay, naming issue lah. Then, okay, again, then here, if you are still confusing with the zero error stuff, you look at here. Okay, okay, you see, you see, I'm going to clip something here. Okay, I'm going to clip something here. Okay, so whenever it comes to here, usually, normal vernier caliper, zero has to match to zero. But now, without anything, my zero is not tally. Okay, they are no longer matching anymore. So when I do calculation with this thing, I mean with the same vernier caliper, okay, this part, what will be? I will automatically include this thing into my calculation as well. Correct or not? Which means I am over calculated. You got me? If you cannot get me, you tell me, huh? It's very important because I don't want you to memorize. I want you to understand. Huh? So if you over calculated this part, what you have to do? You have to minus it out. So it is considered as positive zero error. But what is the figure here? Same lah. You seek for the totally matched line. So which two line is totally matched? This one, no? Okay, so starting from zero, you calculate lah. 1, 2, 3. So 0.03. Okay, cm. This is the positive zero error case. If you talk about negative zero error case, we don't start from zero. Okay, for example, this is negative zero error. For example, okay, then you have to start from 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, if you are using negative zero error, this is your answer lah. Okay, negative starts from behind, positive starts from front. Okay, so this is your zero error. Then when it comes to here with an object, okay, so same lah. This is your main ruler, this is your sub ruler. For main ruler, you look at the zero. So 0 point to here, so my answer is 1. So this is your main, 1 cm plus your sub. Okay, sub, same thing. Sub ruler, you choose two completely matched line. So this is your two completely matched line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 0.06 cm. Then your zero error will be positive 0.03 cm. Then you only go to the formula, okay? Your actual reading is equals to your reading 1.06 minus your zero error. Okay, plus minus minus ma. So your answer is 1.03 lah. Okay, this is how you get the actual reading. If you don't understand, if you can't get it, or not so familiar, if you still have anything confusing, you better ask now, I don't mind to explain to you. Okay, so same goes to here. Your zero error, you see, it is not tally. Then you ask yourself, am I over calculating or miscalculating? So when I spin this thing, right, this part, I will not be calculating it. Just like just now that one, you see, actually same case lah. I miscalculated. Okay, so when I miscalculated, it is negative zero error. So negative 1, 2, negative 0 point, yeah, arrow 1, 2, negative 0.02 mm. Okay, so for this one is so simple. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, but you see this one, we have one tick here, so 2.5 plus 38. So the answer is 2.88 mm. So again, you put in the formula 2.88 minus 0.02 mm. Your actual reading is actually 2.9 mm. Okay, if if you are so hesitate, okay, to ask out the question, I give you one clue lah. Okay, if your main zero is not really shorter, is lower than sub-zero, then it is negative. Okay, if your main zero is higher than your sub-zero, then it is positive. Same goes to here lah. If your main zero, you see, if your main zero is higher than your short zero, than your sub zero. Okay, main is higher than sub, then it is considered as positive. Is if sub is higher than main, then it is considered as negative. Just tell yourself this thing. If you really cannot understand, this is your plan B. Okay? So quite simple. Can I zoom out? Actually, okay, okay, sure. This one. You need my answer, right? So you try to digest this thing lah. Okay, because some of the people you cannot imagine this thing out. Then I give you something like this uh to help you to support you. Okay, wait my screen. Oh, okay, back to normal already. So if you really cannot understand, then here this is going to help you. Then you think another way lah. Okay, if we go for positive, then main zero is higher than sub zero. Then that is considered as positive. This is your case as well for vernier caliper. All right. Then okay, so determine the type of error. This error is considered as, you see, they are not asking for the name of error. Okay, if they ask for the name of the error, it is the name, zero error. We know, correct or not? But they are asking about type of zero error. Type of error, we only got two types. One, systematic, you see? One, random. So based on here, okay, it is considered as what? Which kind of error? Systematic error. Okay, what is the cause of the error? Okay, you can say okay, the apparatus or the measuring instrument maybe already, okay, maybe the what is it called? Maybe the instrument once fell down, okay, fell on the floor, okay, so broken already lah. That's why you have this kind of systematic error. Okay, so systematic error means the error happens on the instrument, not you. Okay, random error means the error happens because of you. If you want to overcome the error here, if you want to overcome the systematic error, you can say what? Okay, you can say use another instrument. Okay, use different instrument to measure. You can say this thing. Okay, or else you can say as I said just now lah, you minus out, you deduct the zero error. Okay, you deduct the zero error. It can be the answer as well. All right. So yep. One more thing is here. Okay, spare me 10 more minutes. I'll extend a little bit on this question. Okay, because this one is very important as well. Tell yourself ml can be cm cube as well. Just tell yourself ml can be cm cube as well. So what is this method we are going to be using? Okay, water displacement method, which means we use, okay, the displacement of water to determine the volume of certain thing. So you see, without anything, 21 ml, with stone, 39, with cork, 42. So you see, what is the theory applied here? Okay, we use the difference to measure the volume of the solid. So what is a scientific principle? A lot of people when they see this scientific principle, wow, so professional. I don't answer already. Okay, basically it's very easy lah. So you see, if you want to measure the volume of solid, just mention we are going to find out the difference of volume of liquid. So you see, the solid volume is same as the difference of liquid volume. This is all you have to answer. Okay, try to make things easy lah. Don't overthink the answer. Okay, so the solid volume is actually same as the difference of the liquid volume. That's all. Okay, so for those who are using BM, Pepperjal stands for solid, Cecair stands for liquid. Isi padu is your volume. So if the question asks you to calculate the volume of the fork, just take 42 minus 39. Do not minus 21. Okay, do not minus 21 because 21, it has nothing. You see, this one has rock, has a stone and a cork as well. Okay, so what you have to minus is just 39 only lah. Okay, then you get your answer. But you show calculation and your SIUD so they can secure these 2 marks. Okay, so this one can be related to the density. The question might ask you to use this volume to calculate density. But somehow this question didn't lah. Okay, but look at here. Mass in BM called GC, volume called isi padu, density we call ketumpatan. Okay, so when it comes to the formula, you have to know density equals to gram divided by cm cube. You see, already given, this line stands for divide. Gram divided by cm cube. If the question on the table, right, already given you the SI unit, then in the table, we no longer need to mention about the SI unit. Okay, but you have to show your working as well, lah. Okay, so density equals to mass divided by volume. So just use your thing to divide, lor. Okay, you play around with the formula. So if the question asks about volume, so volume, based on the formula, we move around, okay, then you can get volume equals to mass divided by density. Okay, then you can get your answer. If not mistaken, the answer is 48 lah. Okay, so if the question asks you to give mass equals to density times lah, not divide, times volume. Then you do your multiplication lah. You get your answer as well. Okay, the question will ask you, then the question will ask you to sketch out, okay, three of the objects given. Okay, plastic cube, you see, the lowest density one should float. The highest density one should sink. Okay, so lowest density on top of here. Okay, so the middle one stays middle lah. The lowest one will sink. Okay, the greatest density one will sink. In your exam, you have to draw and label. Do not forget to draw to label, because you have to know not every teacher will know what you are sketching. Okay, so when they couldn't answer what you are sketching, they will deduct your mark. Then you have to label lah. Okay, so this one is necessary or not, up to you. If you have extra time, you put this thing down. Okay, two purpose, to double check, okay, and to make things more clear. Okay, just write this thing down. Okay, last one. The question will ask you to give inference. Inference, inference means reason. The question will ask you, give reason for the observation. Okay, so if you answer this inference, it's getting popular in your exam already. Okay, inference, you have a formula to answer inference, which is observation plus reason. So you see, if I answer like inference, right? You see how I write? Iron ball will sink in water. You see, this is my inference, as it is denser than water. Correct enough? Or as it has a higher density than water. Also can. This is your reason. This is your observation. That's all. Or else I can change the way the answer or not. Can. I can say plastic cube will float on water. Okay? As it has, or as it is less dense than water. Less denser than water. Correct enough? Or as it has a lower density than water. Okay, can, sure. This can be your answer as well. Okay, so you have to cope or fit yourself into the logic when you answer this thing lah. Okay, inference is observation plus reason. That's all. All right. So, however lah, due to the time issue, we couldn't cover all of the questions here. But however, if you have any questions, okay, to ask me, okay, theoretically, practically questions, okay, to ask me, here is my phone number. Okay, if you are or not my student as well, I don't mind to answer your question. Okay, so I just share my, yeah. Okay, this is my contact number. If you have any question regarding your exam, science exam, you don't understand anything, you ask me lah through WhatsApp. All right. So any question yet? No question, then we call it end for this seminar lah. Okay, thanks for attending. Thank you. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, thank you, you too.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
teacher.
Okay, bye-bye.